In this video, I am going to explain the essential elements of a valid contract. This topic is a very important topic from the examination point of view. Moreover, each of this essential element will become a separate chapter in the subject business law. So I will advise you to watch this video sincerely. Don't skip it in between so that you will be able to understand the contents of this video better. Let me proceed further. So under the heading Essential Elements of a Valid Contract, I have listed out 9 elements, and let me explain these elements to you one after the other. The first one we have is offer and acceptance. In order to create a valid contract, first of all, there should be an offer and its acceptance. There should be a minimum of 2 parties. One party is called as the offerer and the other party is called as the offeree. And the offerer should make a valid offer and it has to be accepted by the other party, namely the offeree. Moreover, it is stated that the offer must be definite. So what do you mean by this? The offer must be definite. The offer must be clear. It must be clear. It should not be uncertain. For example, if a person by name A owns 2 cars, one red car and one blue car, and if he wants to sell his car to another person, he has to very clearly mention which car he wants to sell, whether the red car or blue car. If he simply says that I am going to sell my car to you, to the other person, then the offer is not clear. Okay. So what is very important is clarity and certainty. The offer must be very clear. Okay. It must be definite, clear, and acceptance must be unconditional. When the offeree, there is a person to whom the offer is made, when he is giving the acceptance, he should accept it without any condition. He should not say that only if you do this I'll accept. Okay, the offeree should not tell the offerer, he should not insist on any particular condition. Okay, so the offeree will have to give his acceptance without any condition. That is what is meant by the acceptance should be unconditional. So this is what is the first essential element. There should be valid offer and an unconditional acceptance. Let me now proceed with the next essential element. It is intention to create legal relationship. Whenever there is an agreement between 2 parties, there should be an intention to create legal relationship between them. If there is no such intention to create legal relationship, such an agreement will never lead to a valid contract. For example, if there is a social agreement, what are social agreements? Agreement between friends and relatives, agreement between husband and wife, all these are social agreements. Whenever there is a social agreement, it will never lead to a contract. So what is essential for a contract is that there should be an agreement between parties, and the agreement should be a legal agreement. The intention of the agreement should be to create a legal relationship between them. Okay. So you have a very important case law here, which is Lawful versus Lawful. Okay. I have already very clearly explained this particular case in one of my videos, and I'll give you the link for the video in the description. I need not so that I need not waste time on discussing about that case here. Okay, so you can refer to that video later. I'll give you the link in the description. Now let me proceed with the next point, the next essential element of a valid contract, that is lawful consideration. Every contract should be supported by a lawful consideration. What is meant by consideration? Consideration means something in return. Something in return. What does consideration mean? Consideration means something in return. It is stated that in order to create a valid contract, each party should give something and get something in return. This is very often represented by a Latin term. We have a Latin term, quid pro quo. Quid pro quo. Quid pro quo means something for something. In other words, it means something in return. Very often in Section 8 questions, it will be asked what is quid pro quo. So you should be in a position to say that quid pro quo means consideration. It means something in return. So every contract should be supported by a valid consideration, something in return, and the consideration may be in cash or kind. So what do you mean by the consideration may be in cash or kind? It may be in terms of money, it may be in monetary terms, or it may be in kind also. That is, it may be in terms of goods or services. Okay, but there should be consideration. That is what is required, and the consideration should be lawful. It should not be to do something which is illegal or unlawful. The consideration should be a lawful one. So lawful consideration is the third essential element of a valid contract. Now let me proceed with the fourth one. The fourth essential element of a valid contract is capacity of the parties, that is competency. A contract will be regarded as a valid one only when it is entered into by those parties who are having the capacity to contract. They should have the competency, they should be competent to enter into a contract. So if they are not having the capacity to enter into a contract, into an agreement, then that agreement will not lead to a valid contract. So who are the people who have got the capacity to enter into a contract? I mentioned it here. Those people who have attained the age of majority. Okay? Those who have attained the age of majority. What do you mean by the age of majority? 18 years of age. Okay? So a minor cannot enter into a contract. Okay? Those who are majors alone can enter into a contract. Then those who are of sound mind. Okay? So what do you mean by sound mind? Mental capability. Okay? Those who are mentally ill. Like you have different categories of people like lunatics, idiots and all that. Those people cannot enter into a contract. So people should be of sound mind. Then those not disqualified from contracting. Sometimes some people will be disqualified from entering into contract. For example, if they have done some offense, if they have been sent to jail earlier, such people cannot enter into a contract. Okay, so basically what is required is competency is required. Only those people who have got the capacity can enter into a valid contract. So this is what is meant by this fourth point, fourth essential element, that is capacity of the parties, competency. Okay, let me now proceed with the fifth essential element of a valid contract, that is free consent. Whenever a contract is entered into, the other party's consent should be free and genuine. That is, the other party should not be forced to give his consent. The person to whom the offer is made, that is the offeree, should not be forced to give his consent. There should not be any use of force. That is what is meant by coercion. There should not be any coercion, undue influence, fraud or misrepresentation while getting the consent. As I told you already, each one of these essential elements will become a separate chapter, and I'll be explaining all this in detail later when I take those chapters separately. Okay, for the time being, understand that the consent given should be free consent. It should not be out of pressure or force. The person should willingly, genuinely, out of his own will and wish, he should have given the consent. He or she should have given the consent. So this is what is one more essential element of a valid contract. Then the next essential element we have is lawful object. So what do you mean by lawful object? The purpose of the agreement should be to do something which is lawful. Okay? The subject matter should not be something which is illegal or immoral or opposed to public policy, which means which is opposed to the interest of the public. It should be to do something which is legal. Okay, so it should not be to do something which is an offense, which is a crime. Okay, if the object is to do something which is an offense or crime, then that agreement will never become a contract because the object is unlawful. So what is the requirement here? The essential element of a valid contract is that the object of the contract, the purpose of the contract should be to do something which is lawful. So lawful object is the sixth essential element. Then the seventh essential element is the agreement should be something which is not declared void. Okay, the agreement between the parties should be something which is not declared as void. Void agreements are those agreements which are not legally enforceable. Okay, they cannot be legally put into force. Such agreements are only called as void agreements. Those agreements are said to be void ab initio, which means from the very beginning, from the beginning, they are not valid. From the beginning, they are not valid. That is what is meant by void ab initio. So when will you call the agreements as void agreements? In case the agreements are not fulfilling the essential requirements, you will say that the agreements are void agreements. For example, an agreement with a minor, it is a void agreement because there cannot be an agreement with a minor, no? So he is not having the capacity to contract. So such agreement is a void agreement. Okay, so in case if the agreement is coming under the category of those agreements which are declared as void agreements, such an agreement will not lead to a contract. Okay, that is the seventh point we have. Then the eighth essential requirement is certainty and possibility of performance. The purpose of the agreement should be very clear, certain, and it should be something which can be possibly performed. If there is an agreement to do something which is impossible, no, that agreement will never become a contract. Let me give you a simple example. Let us assume that A promises to sell his car to B for rupees 5 lakhs, but B is already dead. Okay, he is no more, he is not alive. Can this agreement be executed? Can this agreement be fulfilled? Is it possible to fulfill this agreement? No, isn't it? So there is no possibility of performance. So the agreement should be something which is very clear, which is certain, and it should be possible to perform, and it should never be vague. Okay, it should be very clear. It should not give rise to any sort of confusion or ambiguity. Only such agreements are regarded as valid agreements, and only such agreements will lead to a valid contract. So that is what is meant by certainty and possibility of performance. And the last essential element is legal formalities. According to the nature of the agreement, there may be some legal formalities to be fulfilled, and those legal formalities should be duly fulfilled to result in a valid contract. Though law says that the contract may even be oral, it may be based upon oral agreement also. Sometimes it may be insisted that the agreement should be in writing, in which case writing is essential. Some agreements should be duly registered. Sometimes the agreement should be duly stamped. So there may be some legal formalities depending upon the nature of the agreement. So if such legal formalities are there, those legal formalities will have to be duly fulfilled. Only then the agreement will result in a valid contract. So that is what is meant by the point legal formalities. Okay. So we have 9 essential elements of a valid contract. Only if all these 9 essential elements are present, the contract will be regarded as a valid one. Only then it will become legally enforceable. Let me quickly call out all the essential elements one after the other. Number 1 is offer and acceptance. Number 2, intention to create legal relationship. Number 3 is lawful consideration. Number 4, capacity of the parties. Number 5, free consent. 6. Lawful object. 7. Agreement not declared void. 8. Certainty and possibility of performance. And the last one is fulfilling all the essential legal formalities. As I told you earlier, this is a very important topic, and I hope you are able to understand the explanation I have given you. Thank you very much, dear students, for watching this video. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel and forward it to your friends also. Please don't forget to give your comments and your suggestions also, so that I can post videos according to your requirements and expectations. Thank you very much, dear students, for watching this video.